You know, I was thinking about something. Like, these days, and I'm offending a lot of people with this. These days, there's a lot of people out there that speak about ways and things that they don't fully have a grasp on, just like I'm about to do just now. But it's one of those things, it's just, I understand everyone has a different viewpoint, and I understand there's so many different type of people out there, and you can help people get a better understanding. But when you try to intrude on people's understanding of what they believe in just to make a dollar or two, that kind of shit annoys the hell out of me. Like, it's the simple things in life. Like, how do I explain this? Like, okay, so I have one simple basis. I don't really mind listening to anyone talk about anything. You can talk about God and whatnot, but when you try to tell me about my understanding of God is faulted, not by directly it's saying anything about it, but then trying to show me a way of, hey, you shouldn't talk bad about yourself because the universe is listening and every part of your body is listening to you. So, like, you're not allowed to think bad or have bad thoughts because apparently your cells are paying attention. I believe the universe is listening, but I also believe in God. And that just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Not to say, like, okay, yo, it's not to call it bullshit, but I just don't believe that if I believe in the creator, I believe in someone that set up the universe, he wouldn't set up a system that requires you to just think a bad thought and your body just goes into it where it follows it. Because, like, if you speak bad, if you have to literally speak good about everything, like, I get it, law of attraction, think a certain way, you get it. But when it comes to the point where you start controlling speech and be like, you gotta actually fully do it, then you're just trying to control your mind slowly. It's not that you believe it when you have to say it out loud. You have to convince yourself. It's that process of believing in something. So when people tell me, hey, don't talk bad about yourself, don't think bad. No, it's a thought process. If you live life, then you understand that you got to think about the best case scenarios and the worst case scenarios so you can cover everything. So I will have a 180-degree angle at everything. You think I'm just looking this way, but I'm paying attention to everything because you got to think about the bad because you got to survive in this world. So for me to even have bad thought processes, it's just a process of living life because the world's not all peaches and all that goody stuff. It's not. So when you tell me that I'm not allowed to do that because that's the signal you send out to the universe, you're telling me that my God set up a universe where he knows that there are people being born into this world that might not be able to speak properly. So because they can't get the words out, now they're at a disadvantage. Now, the rules of the universe don't apply to them. God literally sent them into this world and said, hey, suffer. You can't get the words out. You can't write it down. You're not capable of doing this. So you're not going to achieve anything. The rules of the universe don't apply to you. So you got to find a different way of succeeding. That sounds stupid to me. The reason why it sounds stupid to me is the process that I believe in. The devil wants something from you. How does he get it? If you want to break down any man or woman and bring them to the lowest point, you're given three things in life: your mind, your body, and your soul. And to corrupt someone, you gotta break at least two of them. The hardest one to break is your soul. But if you go after the mind and the body follows the mind. If you go after the mind and you keep crippling it and you keep showing it ways that it won't be able to achieve, you start building up doubts. So for me to actually think about a universe where God created everything to make sense, and knowing the devil's at work where people are willingly making choices where they know that doing this, doing that will cause problems for them while they're going through pregnancy, and say, hey, the kid didn't turn out right. It has this issue, that issue. Kid had no problem, had nothing to do with this. That was the parents' issues. They fucked up. They didn't pay attention. So God's gonna punish that kid that can't speak, that was born into this world that is lacking something that causes everyone else to be like, hey, that person's normal. So God's just gonna kick that person out. I understand everyone has a different way of believing in things, but when the devil attacks you, he's gonna try to break down those pillars. To get to your soul, he has to break down those first two. Then you start losing grip on what you really, really, really cared about at the beginning. We're all born innocent in this world. And our goal is just by the time we die to come back to that innocence. Try to work hard to actually all the stuff that we go through. But as our journey goes towards we go through a whole bunch of shit that basically shifts us and changes us into something that we never thought we would be when we were kids. But on the journey to try to get back to that innocence, the devil attacks you on those three things. So when I start doubting God and be like, God made a division because the devil makes you make choices. God gives you free will. You free willingly did shit that you weren't supposed to do that caused issue for your kids. And now you can't stand to take care of those kids because those kids are special need. And you get mad at yourself and the kids because it's their fault. So the kids have to suffer. So the kids are born into this world with a disability, with parents that don't even care because they were drug addicts or whatever. I don't believe in that type of God. I can't. The second I start believing in that, my faith is gone. Then my mind is gone. That's reality. Is God wouldn't put you in a situation that you just couldn't handle. How does the Bible make sense when if you're not supposed to eat pork, why are there places where you can only get pork? People are so poor they can only eat pork. They don't have options. Whatever is free range. God will put people in a situation like that. When you start breaking it down, it's those little things that make me like, those become offensive when I try to explain it. It's like, I understand. No, you don't. No. Listen. I'm listening to you, but you're overstepping. It's not that I want to tell you you're wrong or anything, but you can't get me to believe that. Like, the second I believe in that, I don't believe in God no more. Then I don't believe he's forgiving. Then I don't believe that he understands that people had to do things that they didn't want to do. They had to go and just to go to college, provide for their family, do anything. It's just, then that means that you had to be squeaky clean from the point you were born to the point you die. Because God doesn't understand all those things that are going wrong in this world. That means that God doesn't even know that the evil is expanding in new, different ways. And he's still holding the Old Testament. That wasn't even his testament. Everything is of man. The word of God has been lost a long time ago. It's been controlled. So everything we understand is not what we understand. So when we fight over these little things, it's just making people doubt their faith. And without faith, what do you really know about this reality? Your understanding of everything is based off of what someone else discovered. Did you discover it? Do you understand it from like first-hand experience? Or did someone have to explain to you? So now that's someone else's knowledge passing on to you and how they see it. So, yeah. Fucking hungry. Anyways, I'm gonna go get some food. Yeah, so, key part. I'm still trying to figure out who God is. But I just know everyone has a different story. I can never understand it. I can never understand anyone else's story. No one will ever understand my story. But not even families, but there's always someone that's paying attention. Mind, body, and soul. When you get desperate is when your soul is up for grabs. That's when you do things that you would never do before. That's when you just give up on God. When you're willing to risk your soul. The devil comes for that. In many different ways. Always a pretty woman. By the way, the devil's a woman. I'm just letting you guys know. This is a lot longer than I was supposed to. I was supposed to go make some videos about what's it called. Ladies, you gotta hate me. Anyways, we're gonna continue this. God, stop being a jackass, okay, or idiot. Yeah, don't be an idiot. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. All right, cool. All right, yeah, be smart. Don't be a retard. I forgot the next lyric. Okay, that's it.